oil prices are down, the stock market is right, all of the war or the operation of Iran has done things are going up. But for the last 2 months, all the way back to operation first started. And right now, the things that are happening are the Democrats want Trump impeached, and a lot of people that voted for Trump also want the 25th Amendment because of all of this. But in fact, I think that we should talk about what's really going on, what Trump is really doing here, and how this is actually affecting United States markets, oil, and infrastructure. When you really think about it, it is only May. Whoa, it's only April. I'm going way too far. We're not even close to the midterms just yet. Now, when we look at the Strait of Hormuz and the blockade, where we pretty much are taking over, people are like, well, how stupid is it that we are blockading their blockade? They already had it blocked off. Well, you have to be extremely retarded to think that the blockade is not going to affect Iran. In fact, what the blockade is if Iran wants to blockade ships and charge them, well, we're going to blockade Iran and their ships, and we're pretty much just going to take over the entire Strait of Hormuz. And a huge announcement that Trump has made is the fact that if any of these ships get hurt, well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They're going to get blown up. And the fact is that Iran is actually coming to the table. Iran wants to come back to the table. So we got to talk about 121 oil tankers are now en route to the United States now that President Trump has launched a blockade on the Strait of Hormuz. Holy crap. That is an insane amount of American oil about to be exported to countries around the world. Now, again, let's talk about what Trump also said today. President Trump says, talks with Iran. I can tell you that we've been called by the other side. They'd like to make a deal very badly. So Iran is still on the phone. Just because they didn't make a deal doesn't mean they don't want to make a deal. And Trump says that he wants all of it. He doesn't want just a little bit. He doesn't want to give them anything. He wants it all. So let me actually give you guys the big update here that we got to talk about when it comes to Iran, and then we'll talk about what the rules are from the United States of America, because it seems like we are there. Our naval ships are literally blockading the Strait of Hormuz, forcing oil tankers to go into the United States, but also forcing the hand of Iran, taking away all their extreme leverage. Well, let's actually talk about Justin. Iran has frantically said that they want a deal with the president, and Trump, after realizing his naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz is actually working. Well, let's actually take a listen and let's take a look.
Good afternoon, Sandra. The talks here in Islamabad over the weekend were the highest level talks between the U.S. and Iran in nearly 5 decades. And now President Trump upping the ante with this blockade of all Iranian ports. The president was just asked, what was the biggest sticking point here this weekend?
It was over nuclear aggression. I guess it was over the fact that they will never have a nuclear weapon.
A blockade would open up any ship, including tankers carrying Iranian oil, to be potentially seized by the U.S. Navy. Before the blockade went into effect, Iran's speaker said on X, quote, enjoy the current pump figures. With the so-called blockade, you'll be nostalgic for $4 to $5 gas. Mohammed Ghalibaf led Iran's negotiating team here in Islamabad for talks with Vice President J.D. Vance, which lasted more than 21 hours, Sandra. U.S. officials say included in the final offer taken back to Tehran, 6 red lines, including opening the Strait of Hormuz without collecting tolls, ending all uranium enrichment, and dismantling its enrichment facilities, something the Vice President emphasized with reporters here.
The simple fact is that we need to see an affirmative commitment that they will not seek a nuclear weapon, and they will not seek the tools that would enable them to quickly achieve a nuclear weapon.
It's not clear when or where the negotiations will resume. President Trump just said Iran has called.
All right, so we know that Iran is now calling, and they're trying to negotiate. But what Trump is doing is the opposite of the Obama effect. Obama went over there with piles of cash, trying to get them to agree to not enrich or oversee internationally their nuclear capabilities. What Trump is doing is he's not giving them any of that, period. It's either you agree to our terms and we'll find a way to scrimp. Also, you saw that Iran, they are very, very much visible. They know what's going on with the United States. people to think that, hey, our leverage here is that people are going to pay more for gas, and our leverage here is that, you know, gas is going to go all the way up, and that way we're going to pretty much use that. We're going to try our best to pretty much make people hate the United States of America because of temporary gas prices going all the way up. And to a degree, it's working because a lot of people, they're paying more for gas. But what's also not being told is exactly what Trump is going to do to solve that problem when it comes to the blockade. But who is this really hurting? Here's something that they don't really tell you. This is who actually feels the pain of Hormuz if the Hormuz stays closed. 38% is China. Rest of Asia, India, South Korea. So if the United States of America is very successful here, don't you think that China will then go and tell Iran to cave and make a deal? Because you have to. You're going to hurt us in the end. But Iran wants what they want. They want the United States of America to agree to their terms. And Trump says he holds all the cards. So if that's the case, well, let's actually go look